You don't look like someone who needs all that bandwidth. If you like the video, please subscribe." She said it like an observation, not an accusation, like she was commenting on the weather. Standing on my porch with her phone already in her hand, screen glowing, thumb hovering, eyes scanning past me into my living room as if it belonged to her. I remember the exact moment because that was the second my sense of safety cracked. Before that, my life was quiet and the way only people who've learned to protect their peace understand. I lived alone in a small, cedar-sided house at the edge of a planned community that pretended to be rustic. The HOA brochure showed smiling couples walking dogs beneath mature trees. In reality, it was trimmed lawns, security cameras disguised as birdhouses, and rules laminated and posted in mail kiosks. Still, I'd chosen it because it backed up to a strip of preserved woods. Every morning, I opened my kitchen window and listened to the birds arguing over nothing. I made coffee the same way every day, measured scoop, filtered water, kettle instead of a machine, because I liked the ritual. I worked remotely, quietly, headphones on, deadlines met, no drama. I didn't host parties, I didn't bother my neighbors, I paid my dues on time and kept my trash cans out of sight. I was invisible by design. The first time I noticed her was a month after I moved in. A woman in her late 40s, hair always pulled tight, posture rigid, voice carrying just enough to be heard through closed windows. She walked the block every afternoon, clipboard in hand, pointing at things. Lawns, fences, someone's car parked an inch too close to the curb. I later learned she was the HOA president. I learned that because she knocked on my door one evening to inform me, politely but with that thin smile, that my mailbox post wasn't the approved shade of brown. I repainted it. That was the extent of our interaction, or so I thought. Her daughter moved in shortly after. Early 20s, loud car, louder friends, the kind of person who treated shared space like a backdrop for content. She lived 2 houses down, but for reasons I'd come to understand, she spent a lot of time watching my place. The first warning sign came as a request. She knocked one afternoon while I was working. I answered because I was expecting a package. "Hey," she said, already annoyed. "My Wi-Fi's down. Can I hop on yours for a bit?" I hesitated. I don't share my network, not because I'm paranoid, because I work with sensitive client data. I told her that, calmly. She rolled her eyes. "It's just Wi-Fi." I said no, politely, briefly. She stood there a beat too long, looked past me again, then smiled in a way that felt rehearsed. "Okay," she said, "just thought I'd ask." That night, my internet went down for 15 minutes. The next day, there was a note on my door from the HOA about unregistered network interference. Vague, unsigned. I called the HOA office. No one returned my message. Then came the second knock. Same porch, same stance, different tone. "You're really going to make this a thing?" she asked. "I already answered," I said. She sighed dramatically, like I'd disappointed her. "My mom says you're being unneighborly." That was when I realized this wasn't about Wi-Fi. It was about control. When the police showed up 2 nights later, lights washing my living room in red and blue, I didn't feel fear at first. I felt insulted. The officer said they'd received a call about suspicious online activity and possible illegal streaming. I invited them in, offered them water, showed them my work credentials, my router logs, my spotless record. They left apologetic. But as they pulled away, I saw her daughter standing in her driveway, phone raised, recording, smiling. And I understood. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was intentional. Once someone decides you're a problem, they don't stop at one call. They escalate. The HOA notices things they didn't before. My grass was suddenly borderline. My outdoor light was too bright. My trash can lid once sat open for an hour after pickup, and I received a warning notice with a time-stamped photo. I responded to every notice the same way: documented, polite, compliant. I started keeping records. because that's what you do when quiet people are pushed. They observe. The daughter began telling neighbors I was creepy, that I monitored her online, that I was hoarding bandwidth. It sounds ridiculous until you realize how fast rumors travel when they're whispered with authority behind them. People stopped waving. Someone moved their dog to the other side of the street when they saw me. The HOA president, her mother, called a special meeting about community resource misuse. My name wasn't mentioned, but everyone knew. I attended, sat in the back, took notes. When I tried to speak, I was told public comment was closed. Afterward, someone slipped a flyer into my mailbox advertising a neighborhood watch app. That's when I installed cameras. Not to spy, to protect myself. I positioned them legally, clearly visible. I kept the footage backed up off-site. I saved emails, recorded phone calls where allowed, logged every knock, every note, every interaction. Because beneath the clipboard and the meetings and the performative concern, something didn't add up. HOA finances were supposed to be transparent. Ours weren't. Late fees were inconsistent, enforcement selective. And the daughter? She didn't just want Wi-Fi. She wanted access. I found out when one of my cameras caught her trying my side gate at 2 a.m. The footage showed her face clearly, hoodie up, phone flashlight on, tugging at the latch. I didn't confront her. I waited. Then came the sacrifice. A certified letter arrived stating I was being fined for network interference impacting community safety systems. The fine was substantial, enough to hurt, enough to make me consider selling. I paid it, quietly. Neighbors assumed guilt. The HOA president smiled at me for the first time since we met. And that's when I knew I had them, because while they were watching me react, I'd been watching them act. The HOA's security systems were privately contracted. The company belonged to a shell LLC. The shell traced back to the president's brother-in-law. The daughter's Wi-Fi issues? She was running an unauthorized hotspot using HOA infrastructure, using my address to mask the traffic. I had logs, MAC addresses, timestamps. I had footage of her tampering with cables. I had emails where the HOA threatened me without due process, and I had patience. I filed a formal complaint with the state. Then I waited. The meeting where it all came apart was standing room only. The state investigator asked questions calmly, methodically. The HOA president answered confidently, too confidently. She denied everything, blamed me, claimed harassment, claimed I was unstable. Then the investigator asked about the security contract. She hesitated. Just a second. Long enough. I submitted my evidence. The room went silent as footage played. Logs displayed, emails read aloud. The daughter stood up, shouting, accusing, threatening. That was her mistake, because the investigator already had a warrant for fraud, for misuse of funds, for illegal surveillance. The police arrived, not for me this time. The HOA president was removed from her position that day. Charges followed. The contract was terminated. Restitution ordered. The daughter moved out within a month. The rumors stopped. Neighbors waved again. My internet stayed on. These days, my life is quiet again. The birds still argue in the morning. I still make my coffee the same way. But I lock my gate now. Not because I'm afraid. Because I learned something. Dignity isn't loud. Justice isn't fast. And patience, real patience, is a form of power. If you've ever been pushed because you were quiet or targeted because you didn't fight back right away, what did you learn when you finally stood your ground? I'd like to hear your story.